Oh my God! Tournament bracket main character shonen. What?
Part 2. Well,
no part. We don't discuss that, Thurman. That was before that. We had like what 100 subscribers when we did that first one. Long time ago.
4,000.
Long ago, in a distant land.
Well, technically, we recorded a version of this, you and me, but
it was just.
It just took too much editing.
Also, it was a tier list, not a bracket list. Brackets are more.
All right. Anyway, let's get on to the first
start
match.
Off here. Now this has been okay. Nagisa versus Naruto.
Nagisa, 100%.
So I'm a big fan of Nagisa. Well, here, David, you go first, and then because I like Nagisa a lot, but I want to make a fair assessment for both. Go ahead.
Naruto has that nostalgia factor for a lot of people, but
remember the character, not the show.
Like, I mean, he's the fucking MC of like one of the most influential fucking series on the planet. I think we have to take a little bit of that in consideration here as well. As a character, he started off as this whiny, wimpy, I have no friends, blah blah blah. And then he developed into one of the most badass shonen characters in sub-modern. I wouldn't even call it modern. I mean, he's in Boruto, but who gives a fuck about Boruto?
Naruto's dad. Wait, no, Boruto's dad.
Boruto's dad is...
Yeah, so Boruto's dad versus Nagisa.
Yeah, I mean, I get it. He's definitely iconic, but I don't think Iconics truly beats him here, because if we're talking like character versus character, like all factors, I think Nagisa beats him out, because the one thing Naruto lacked, I feel like, is would you say I enjoyed Naruto as a character when he was younger? Sure, but one thing that he falls flat is his complete obsession with Sasuke.
Yeah,
which is his character.
It makes you kind of like not like it kind of removes that I like him, I'm rooting for him, and more of like like when you're reading it and you're like, you're kind of a little obsessed, and like people meme you and like cringe at you, it's like
yeah, it's kind of like it's a bit too much. Like Nagisa, on the other hand, he's a character that just based off of his backstory alone grew up in an unfortunate way, right? He was raised by a over obsessive mom who basically wanted to live her life through him.
Yeah. I gush? Do you mind if I gush about his backstory? That's my shit. So, yeah, Nagisa quickly became one of my favorite main characters of all time, and it was one of those like emotional responses. It wasn't like a factual, I can like analyze this with facts and logic, and no, it was like legit. Like, I fell in love with him. And the big one, I mean, one already, like, I love assassin characters. I liked that he was, like, more feminine and, like, at least in appearance, and, like, very weakly, like, in appearance, and even, like, the voice that they give him. But, like, he's got, like, a strong spirit. And Thurman is right. When we see his backstory, it's, like, really eye-opening, because you see this mother that's, like he said, obsessive about living her dreams through him. And there's this great metaphor that Nagisa uses. And what I love about that series is it's always being narrated through Nagisa's eyes. And there's a metaphor he's using where he walks by like a kid playing like an RPG, and they're like, "Oh man, I failed," or whatever. And they're like, "Oh, it's okay. You can just start a new file." And he started seeing his life as his mother's new save file, like New Game Plus, right? He was like, my life isn't even my own. My life is my mom's New Game Plus. Like, she pushed me to this school because it's the school that she wanted to go to. There's this college. She's like, "Oh, you'll get to this college," and that's the college she wanted to go to, but she got rejected from or whatever. And then you can get this job at this corporation, and that's the job she wanted, right? And the biggest one, the one that really fucking killed it, was this whole time, like, he's always been made fun of by the other characters about how he looks like a girl. He's got really girly hair. It's like, what's going on? And they even ask, like, are you a boy or a girl? There's a scene where they're swimming, and they're like, oh my God, you're a guy. And finally it makes sense. She, like, obsessively wanted him to be a girl. She wanted a girl. Why? Because her parents, Nagisa's mother's parents, didn't let her be girly. They made her, dress fancy in suits and, like, keep her hair short, and they wouldn't let her hair grow long. So this, like, repressed shit where she was like, when I have a daughter, I'm going to put them in all the girly shit, yada, yada. And presumably, just doing a little, subtext reading, it seemed like obviously she probably drove the father nuts, and like they split up immediately. So she only got that one kid, and she was like, "Fuck," right? So she just like treats him like a girl, for no it's almost like the opposite, where like, people talk about how there's an issue where guys are being raised, as guys specifically, and they play with this guy shit, or other way around. Whereas it was like the opposite, like. It's a guy. Nagisa's a boy, but she didn't raise him gender neutral. She raised him as he was a girl, essentially. And so you're through, and like you see these things where like he ties up his hair while he's at school, and then he brings it back down when he goes home because she'll legit like snap on him and like he shout at him. And there's so many like really realistically well written scenes. Like he's talking about, like, you see how beaten down by this abuse he is, because, like, every time there's this conversation where he's talking to his dad, and his dad's like, "Oh, I hope you're dealing with your mother well, and I know she's a handful." And, like, Nagisa is so beaten down by this, he sees it as his fault. He even says, like, "No, it's as long as she's in a good mood and I don't talk back to her, she's fine. And like, even when he comes home and has this simple ass request, like, "Hey mom, I really want to make sure I stay in this grade. I'm enjoying it." And then she's like, "What?" And then like Nagisa, it's not like he's resenting her. It's not like he's mad at her. All he thinks is, "Ah, damn it, I shouldn't have brought it up when she was in a bad mood. That was my bad." Like he literally takes the blame for her like freaking out at him, and he's been beaten down by it.
For real. And
one last thing, because I could go on forever about this, when they're confronting Kuro Sensei about this, and he's disguised as a human to talk to her, she starts to get mad, and like Nagisa he thinks in his head like, "Oh, yep, I can tell from that face that she's about to have one of her meltdowns. I spent my whole life studying that face, knowing about how she reacts." And I get that, because I'm not going to pretend like I got like beat by my dad or anything, but he was a pretty angry guy, and he threatened it a lot. And it's true, when like you start to know, like, you know what to say and what not to say. You analyze every little thing, and that's what Nagisa did. Like, going back to that scene where he blamed himself, he was like, I have to like read her. I have to see if she's in a good mood for me to dare defy her today. Like, maybe she'll let me fucking have an opinion today, or maybe she won't. So like Nagisa, this like weakly feminine boy that like really didn't. From the very beginning, he didn't stand out. He wasn't confident. You find out that it's because he's been beaten down by his mom his whole life. And what really elevates his character for me is this relationship he has with Kuro Sensei. Kuro brings out the best in all of these students, and he brings out this inner talent that he never knew he had. He thought he was shitty at everything, but he has this amazing talent, and Kuro Sensei brings that out in him and all the other classmates. So yeah, his growth and backstory and everything, much more believable, much more lovable. I fell in love with him immediately. Definitely Nagisa.
I gotta agree. Like, Nagisa is the better written, the better, more wholly their character out of all of these, or these two here. So, Nagisa advances.
Okay, here's an interesting one. Luffy versus Ichigo.
This is between you two.
Yeah, Thurman can't even comment. He ain't a Bleach guy. So, David, I'll let you start on this.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Well, here, I have one sentence to start you off. Neither of them are amazing.
No.
Like, these are the bog standard shonen main characters.
Can I just get us instantly demonetized?
Whatever you want, man. Don't make me edit.
Fucking Ichigo is the cum slut of Bleach. I'm sorry.
Oh yeah, we make this joke constantly. He's a result of an orgy of every single fucking race in the series.
He is literally. You know what? I need to progress the plot. He's a Soul Reaper. He's a Quincy.
Man, you got love him and hate him. I mean, Thurman. Imagine if there was a character in One Piece that was a pirate, a marine, a revolutionary, like I'm all the things. And that's what Ichigo is. Ichigo's a hollow, a Soul Reaper, a visored, somehow in a wrong car because he has a resurrection at some point. A fucking Quincy, a Fullbringer.
I love Bleach. I'm not a One Piece guy, so I'm giving it to Ichigo.
Ew. What? Oh shit. Thurman might have to fucking...
But I'm still going to stand by the fact that they're both horribly written fucking characters.
Horrible. I think they're both... Okay, here's the thing. Ichigo as a character, I like him in the first 2 arcs. The first one and then the Soul Reaper rescuing Rukia arc, because he's got this like punky spunk to him. He's very overconfident. He's fun. He's entertaining to watch. He's like kind of like Yusuke from Yu Yu Hakusho, you know? But he crumbles as a main character for me after the first 2 arcs. Going into the Arranka, after the eyes and shit, I think Kubo didn't know how to write depression. Because, like, obviously Kubo wanted to write, you've just been annihilated, war is coming, you're scared. But, like, Kubo, instead of just writing him, like, maturing, having sadder moments, he took maturing as strip everything that was interesting from his character and just make him, like, depressed all the time. And like, it just made, he just kind of became a blank slate. I would say almost on the level of like a Promised Neverland character. He became like I am a walking shell to fulfill the objective. I am a robot and I'm trying to defeat Aizen, and that's what I do. He didn't really have a personality, in my opinion, after the first 2 arcs. Now, luckily, Bleach is still an amazing show because the side characters are phenomenal, and they remain phenomenal throughout the whole series. But as a main character, I think Ichigo is actually one of the weaker ones, and I would definitely, as much as I think Luffy is also a weak character, much stronger. Like, Marineford, like, Sabaody, Impel Down, Marineford alone puts Luffy above Ichigo.
I gotta say, from what I've read up until the whole Kekai arc of One Piece, I still need to pick it back up and finish it.
Think about the parts where he's like rescuing his brother and shit. That was pretty good for Luffy.
Yeah, that's great. But I still like the side characters a hell of a lot more.
We're not talking about side characters. We're talking about Luffy and Ichigo.
Luffy, to me, is your generic. He's like the Goku of One Piece. Okay.
True, but he's still better. I would argue Goku's better than Ichigo.
I'm not going to deny that. Goku is a better main character.
Ichigo's not a good main character.
Ichigo is
good
a
in the
shitty
first
main
2 arcs, and then he's just I have nothing.
I thought you guys were over exaggerating, but legit, like, wow, really? Like,
no, I don't over exaggerate.
No, Ichigo bleh, as a main character.
First, but luckily the side characters are so good. Like, I don't understand how Kubo did it. His side characters are some of the best in any manga I've ever read.
Yes.
Like they're amazing.
Wow, that's interesting.
Yeah, that's actually I've said this. I've gone on record saying this before. Like, if it wasn't for the side characters, I don't know if I like side characters and the action and the plot is even really good in Bleach. It's just like Ichigo is like a husk. It's just like a person to drive the plot forward.
That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So no, I mean I give it to Luffy easily, and luckily I have Thurman to break this tie. So just say Luffy, Thurman.
Luffy. Should I give reasons why Luffy or?
Oh yeah. I mean, talk about what you like about Luffy, sure.
Oh well, okay. Well, the reason why I like Luffy is because I think his simpleness what makes him a good character. To me, at least, he's a character that even in the series itself, I like how Oda does this. Is that like to us and the people in the verse, like, he's a simple-minded character, but it's perfect because that's what he's supposed to be. Like, his simple-mindedness, his straightforwardness is one of which it brings people together. Like, you see Mihawk, you see like
True.
a bunch
I
of
do like that.
Say this, that Luffy's simpleness is because he's so simple, right? Like, his
greatest strength is his ability to gather together allies. Like, people see him as like a good example is like even Zoro. When he recruits Zoro, it's like Zoro's a complex guy. He's a realist. He's like, this is dumb, this is stupid, but like Luffy's like just ability to be like, no, we're gonna do it. It kind of gets to people like, wow, maybe I can do it. Like, really? You know?
Yeah, because I mean, Luffy was just like, I just like he's enjoyable to see on the screen, you know? Like, when I see him on the screen, it's just enjoyable because he's a character that's just made to, you know, act cool, you know, be what we want, like, to be and shit like that, right? Mm-hmm. So it's just like, when you see Luffy, like, on screen, it's like, yeah, like, Luffy did this, was cool, did this, and he did this, right? So it's like, I enjoy him for what he's supposed to be, and he's supposed to be like an interesting character that we can follow the story with. You know, we can be like, because he's not the best written character, far from it. But I think what Oda was trying to go for him, he was trying to make not a complex main character, but an enjoyable one. I think he's enjoyable to see, and I think he does that for being an enjoyable MC alone. That makes him a good main character. Because
and to pile on top of what you're saying, and then I'll give David the final word as the opposition here. What Thurman just said there alone makes him better than Ichigo, because he has that, which again, Ichigo was never enjoyable to me because I never was in, like, even if we're scrapping completely the writing, when Luffy's on screen, I can be entertained. Ichigo was just, and like, to prove this point, during the final arc, there are not even just the final arc, there are many arcs in Bleach where Ichigo doesn't show up for like 60 chapters plus.
Oh, I can't even argue that. Like
like
you're
Kubo
right.
fucking knew. No one gave a fuck.
You're right. But I just love my strawberry-haired boy, okay?
I mean, he's got it. I mean, if the one thing I will always give Ichigo is, out of every shonen, like the big three MCs, he's got the drip. He's got drip.
He's got drip.
He knows how to dress. He's a stylish boy. Oh, yeah, he does. But no, Luffy, Thurman's right. I mean, there's an enjoyableness to Luffy. It's just fun to watch him do shit. And, like, Ichigo, in the first arc, because, again, whenever you start reading Bleach, Thurman, you're going to be like, what are you talking about? He's great. I'll be like, nah, bro, I'm telling you, the first arc, he's great.
The first
the main
arcs.
thing, and I'll just to emphasize this, Kubo wanted to make him sad because sad things happened, and then he was sad for the rest of the series.
Yeah, that there annoyed the hell out of me. Like, depression isn't like that. Like, you have moments of it. You don't live your entire fucking life depressed, emo, blasting the Black Parade, okay?
Yeah, and this was even a fucking, like, plot point. Like, Rukia had to come back and be like, bro, like, what is this depression I'm seeing? Like, I gotta beat you out of this. Like, what the fuck? This out of you. And then he didn't. Anyway.
All right. Next fight.
Moving on. Maka versus Eren Yeager.
This is... So I'm already voting for Eren because I care little about Maka as a character. I'm gonna be real. So.
Oh shit!
Maka is a great character for the first 20 episodes.
Oh, did she pull an Ichigo too?
I mean, she's just not relevant.
She was boring.
Like,
she was just boring.
Okay, so no matter what adaptation you consider canon, she just drops off the fucking face of the earth in credibility.
Oof. That's fair. I have not seen Soul Eater, so that's
I don't
what I
care
have
if you
to say about
read
Eren.
or watch it.
For context, basically,
I will eventually because I love Fire Force.
The anime pulls in a Kami got killed, and
I know it fucking changes shit, so I should read it. Yeah.
Neither one is really good, and this is coming from a Soul Eater fan.
It's a shame. Yeah, I hope he doesn't end Fire Force dumb.
He's gonna say, "Fuck it, I want Abchick."
I want to do a shoujo spin-off with Fire Force.
I want Abchick to have her own series.
Either way though. So
Eren wins hands down. Moving on.
Wait, may I say some things about Eren? Because I have things to say about Eren.
I can't say what I want to say, so do your thing.
Well, I know he's talking about. So I am I finished season 1, season 2. I'm like an episode into season 3. What I like about Eren is there's a one line that defines him very well.
Ketchup.
And what's up?
Ketchup.
I'm planning on this soon. Been distracted by the deadly virus situation. Ironically, I can't stay home because my work is assholes. But anyway, so there's a line that really defines him from the beginning. And like Eren he's not complex. He's not like a really, and maybe he gets there. David's telling me some current manga shit's really cool. But as the beginning Eren go, like first half of the series Eren goes, he's not like, there's one single line, and it was from Mikasa that describes him well. And she described him as, and before she even knew that it was Eren. It was when she saw him in Titan form for the first time. And she says, it's like he's the manifestation of humanity's rage. And that is just what it clicked with me. That's what he is. David, you sent me a photo. Is it important? Because I'm not looking.
I said just edit this out during this portion.
If I give it, probably not though. We'll see.
I'm just pouting.
You just have to remind me. So anyway, so manifestation of humanity's rage, right? And this is coming from someone. One of the reasons I like him is because I'm very heavily involved with politics, and especially now as we're seeing the world fucking falling apart from coronavirus, like there's a lot of rage and stress building up, and there's this like, especially when you're trying to deal with like changing the world it's quite difficult. It's a lot of tiny, minute changes, like, you know, 1 step forward, 2 steps back, 2 steps forward, 1 step back, teeny little tiny things. Oh, do we want to pass a bill that just fucking raises everyone's pay? No, let's pass a bill that like raises some people's pay, but like only by like $0.50. You know, that's how politics works. That's how change works, unfortunately, right? So you see this metaphorically played out in Attack on Titan with the wall situation. They gain some ground, they lose some ground. They were doing a lot of losing ground. Then they fight, they lose thousands of people to gain a little bit more ground, and then they lose it again. It's a good metaphor there, right? And Eren becomes this manifestation of being so sick of how the world runs that he just finally gains this power to, like, imagine being someone, because I take that and think about it in real life. Imagine, okay, you have a goal. I want I don't know, I want to, let's crush capitalism, for an example. And I get this huge fucking Titan form and I stomp on into the White House and I'm like, bitch, Bernie's the president now. And I push him in the seat and I chuck. I'm gonna be like, anyone got a fucking problem with that? And it's like beautiful to imagine that, you know, it's like a power fantasy, right? Guys only want one thing and it's fucking disgusting, but it's a male power fantasy. But with Eren, like, you see this manifested throughout his entire childhood. Every flashback you get of him, he has severe anger issues, and it's beautiful because I relate so much. Every time I'm yelling and shit, it's because I'm thinking about how much I hate my job and how much I hate the fact that I have zero wealth and I'm in debt and I can't fuck, like, it's all that.
How does it feel getting collection calls from medical
Eren, obviously,
collectors?
Eren, obviously, they animate.
Welcome to the club.
With Eren, they animeify it. You know, we're talking about monsters and shit, but everything's political. It's all a fucking metaphor. And
animeify it?
Yeah, sure. But like in his flashbacks, you have like these moments where the one that really clicked with me was the Mikasa one, where, again, keep in mind, Eren is someone who's disgusted at how sick the world is. And he's disgusted at the Titans specifically. Like, why are we just born to be the cattle in this pen? And so he's already mad at Titans, right? And then he sees literal sex traffickers about to sell this young girl into fucking, like, sex slavery, basically. And in his head, he thinks, like, Jesus Christ, we're already doing everything we can, losing thousands of people constantly, just trying to fight the fucking Titans. But humanity can't have the gall to stand together against our common enemy. We're still going to have infighting in humanity. We're still going to do shitty things like fucking rape each other and sell each other into sex trafficking when we're dealing with the Titans. So, like, this rage bubbles up in him, and he's, as like a fucking teenager, like young, preteen, stabbing the fuck out of this guy. And it's not just in self-defense. This is like aggression. He's like, die, die, die. This is what you get for being what you are. You deserve death. You're scum. You're filth. I'm like, and you just feel that rage at the way the world is. That he was not stabbing a man there. He was stabbing a manifestation of everything that's wrong in this fucking world. God, yes. That's what I love about Eren. He's simple on the surface, but when you realize he's just a metaphor for the collective rage of humanity, it's like, oh, amazing.
And I can say what I want to say, so fuck you for not being. I mean, you
can just allude to it without spoilers. Just say, you know, cool shit happens in the manga, therefore.
Yeah, just what's happening in the manga right now, the entirety of it, this whole final arc that's about to hit anime form, is going to be some of the greatest storytelling.
I'm very much looking forward
in fucking shonen history. I cannot.
That's not a hype.
I am. If you've watched anything in this channel, I stan Lelouch 1000%, and he's on this list, so you know who I'm voting for in that one.
Oh yeah, that one's gonna be fun.
Fuck you and everything else you stand for. Lelouch's best boy, but Eren in this final arc turns into a version of Lelouch, and I'm there for it. I was Team Levi until this arc. And this entire fucking setup is so masterfully written. I did not see everything coming that's going on right now. I'm going back, I'm like, oh, this all makes sense now. This is the first time in years I've actually reread a fucking manga.
I'm looking forward to it, man. And like I'm glad that I got to like binge it all. And like
fuck
honestly,
you.
I'm
You
trying
got to
like
experience it perfectly, and I hate you for it.
Oh yeah, and
I've been reading this shit monthly for years.
I'm hoping that by the time that I like catch up with volume, or like that's kind of one of the reasons I'm taking my time with season 3. Like I just want to kind of watch it slowly, and by the time I catch up, I'm hoping it's only like a couple months before season 4 comes out. But yeah, looking forward to it. Next we have Yusuke Urameshi versus Atem.
My boy.
I gotta give it to Yusuke.
This is gonna be a Thurman, David, because all I know is Yusuke.
I'm gonna be real. Like Atem is fine for what he is. Game of the Masters, you know, all this stuff like that. But I'm gonna be real, and it's funny because I have a lot of friends who are into Yu-Gi-Oh. Atem kind of breaks the rules a bit in dueling.
Okay.
He makes his own rules.
Can I just stand Atem for a minute, because even I agree. Even I agree.
Respond to the breaking of the rules? That's a harsh claim.
I got it. The Orichalco storyline in the fucking anime, where he literally is killing Weevil over and over and over and over again, just for the fuck of it. I fucking loved it.
I mean, I'm gonna be real. That was a good scene because it kind of shows you, like, keep in mind who Atem is. He's a pharaoh, European god, and I would say he had some issues dueling, right? But up until this point in the arc, he's basically, I'd say, won most of his duels with issues, but not like issues. But you can tell that whole scene was full unadulterated rage. It's because, for context for those who haven't watched it or read it, basically at this point, Yugi was kidnapped by, I think, either Merrick or somebody, and his soul was taken, right? And so Weevil, who was Majin Buu, you know, well, Babidi.
He was Babidi by the fucking Seal of Orichalcos.
Yeah, and basically what happens is he says, during this duel, he was like, this is a card that will save Yugi. I'll give you this card. Come get this card. And he rips it up in front of Atem, right? Mm-hmm. Atem is pissed. So what he basically does is he did some fucking, I don't know what the fuck he did, but basically he was like, every time I draw a monster card, this monster gets to attack you, right? Mm-hmm. So basically what had happened was just like no monsters on the field, right? All this other shit, and
it was
the majority
Breaker the Magical Warrior that he had at the end of this, just over, if I remember right anyway, over and over and over again. Just taking out that pure unadulterated rage. Because Weevil not only has done this, but going back to the fucking Duelist Kingdom arc for throwing away the Prize Exodia, just taking out both his and Yugi's rage here is what I interpreted it as. It's like, this is for everything, you scum.
Like, it got into the point to where they were like, the one of the female characters were like, okay, you stop. Like, you're getting too, like, it's too much, right? So that was a good scene. But Yusuke, my boy, just has everything when it comes to, like, this wasn't like, because here's the thing, right? This is why this is early Togashi right here, right? Red's all about the Hunter x Hunter. I'm all about that Yu Yu Hakusho, right?
Yeah, we had a video about like Yu Yu Hakusho versus Hunter x Hunter. That was early days.
Like,
you really still think Yu Yu Hakusho is better than Hunter x Hunter? That's wild.
I gotta say, bro, it's good. So Yusuke, because when we're first introduced with Yusuke, right? He's known as a delinquent, right? He's smoking cigarettes. He's like, I guess at the time what you would call like a Japanese delinquent in middle school or high school, I guess, right? So when you introduce, we think like he's some punk, he's underestimating the world, blah blah blah. He's just, all
he's like an asshole too. Like there's some like shit that wouldn't fly today. Like, do you remember he just looks up fucking I don't remember her name, but he just like looks up her fucking skirt.
Yeah, Kiku's. Yeah, he's
literally is just like, huh,
like just like,
that's a vagina.
Full on, right? So like we see this, but then immediately, like a few pages later, we see him like at first we're like, okay, because this is some good shit, bro. This is some good shit, right? So he sees a little kid playing in the street, right? He's like, all right, kid, get the way, like, stop, get away from the fucking street, like, because I guess the kid lost his ball or whatever. He did it the first time. Yusuke was like, all right, bro, chill out, right? And when Yusuke was walking away, the boy did the exact same thing. And, if he was the asshole that Togashi made us think he was like, oh, well. But he actually rushes in to save the kid. Like, holy shit, right? That's also, like, that's the first part about it that makes it so good, right? Like, when we first introduced to this character, we see him do some asshole shit that wouldn't fly, right? But then we see, like, the kid actually has some morals.
It shows that, like, people are more than what they seem on the outside type shit.
Yeah, right? And it's so good because the pages that Fly twires it's like Yusuke doesn't care that he's died, bro. He's like, oh shit, I'm dead. Oh well, I wasn't really liking my life anyway, and this means that my mom can be free from me. She can finally get married and all this extra shit, right? So he's happy. He's like, I'm accepting death, right? So that's fucking crazy already. I love a character who just kind of realizes like, all right, well, I'm dead.
Like the Will of D shit in One Piece. You know how all of them fucking smile and accept their death.
Yeah. So it's just like, bro, like that shit's so dope. So, and then what makes it even better is that literally King Yama, or Yuma.
I know where you're going with this. I love this fucking part.
He's like, he shows him, right? He shows him. He's like, all right, this is what you're gonna look like, right? He basically shows him his own funeral, and then he sees Kuwabara, sad, like you were supposed to fight me. He sees like Kiku, his childhood friend, fucking crying. He sees like the little boy and his mom goes to pray for him. He sees his mom fucking crying and shit because to him.
And his mom was so sad too because she was like an alcoholic or something. She was off her rocker.
Like she was one who hung out with like a bad crowd, right? Like she was like, she hung out with the Yakuza. Like she would always have like a gang over from the Yakuza, shit like that, right? So to Yusuke, he was like, whoa, shit, to him, he thought he was a burden, right? He thought he was just some burden. He's like, all right, I'm dead now, so my mom is free from this burden. She can live her life. But seeing his mom cry like that, she's like, shit, I need to come back alive, right? See how impactful that is, right? Mm-hmm. Just think about that. Think about just dying. You protected some kid. All your life, you feel like you've just been like a waste of space, right? Like you should have never been born. All this, you've been hated, blah, blah, blah. You're like, this is a perfect opportunity for just people that I care for to be rid of me, right? And then you actually see like, oh shit, like you see like his mom's like bawling out crying too. Like what Togashi does so good is that like she has to think about it for a second, right? Like when she's there, she doesn't cry right away. Like she thinks about it. She's like, oh shit, my son is dead. Like Yusuke is dead. And she starts bawling, crying. And that's what sadness is. You don't realize something, right? Unfortunately, I don't know if anyone in the family passed away, but some people, denial is one of the biggest things when it comes to sadness, right? Like if you've known someone for so long, like especially like a child or a parent, you're just like, the sadness doesn't register in right away for some people. Like some people cry right away and then they're good. But some people just, it takes time for them to hit. Like, I'll never see this person again. I'll never be able to see their smile. I'll never be able to, like, I won't be able to cook him food no more. And that hit.
True, man. That shit fucking hits slowly but surely.
So Togashi does that shit so good, man. Like, this is his early series shit, too. And then not to mention his badass moments in the Dark Tournament arc. His badass moments in the final arc versus Sensui, where he goes full demon. Like, he is a character that just what Goku probably should have been.
Yeah, honestly. I can agree with that.
Like people don't realize that Yusuke I'm not gonna say he was like the most complex character out there, but
no, he definitely was not a fucking complex.
But he did simplicity well. Like when Thurman says that's what Goku should have been, he's spot on.
Oh yeah.
Because think about it, right? Because when you have a character like Yusuke, like his whole purpose, he was a delinquent, right? And because when Yu Yu Hakusho first came out, it wasn't action packed at first. There's actually something called the Spirit Detective arc, like solving like detective shit. Like it was supposed to be like a slice of life.
You almost pulled like a Hitman Reborn, where it was like way different at first.
Yeah. Because it was because I don't know if there's any interviews about Togashi during when he's making Yu Yu Hakusho, but basically it was just like I'm testing the waters with this, because Yama said that if you do enough good deeds, you can come back to life, right? So, and that's what the whole first arc was about. It was really good, by the way. Really, really good.
Yeah, so I really liked the first arc, and then the Dark Tournament stuff was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah. I really wish if Togashi ever came back, I need him to make another series like Yu Yu Hakusho, bro.
How about we fucking finish Hunter
Yeah,
x Hunter?
Wait. I gotta agree with Red here. Let's finish what is his magnum opus before the man fucking dies of Dragon Quest addiction.
You don't understand. Hunter x Hunter is like, I love it more than many things.
Like, oh my god.
Red is willing to stay a virgin for the rest of his life until the series completes.
That's what? I don't think I made that promise. Me fucking has zero to do with Hunter x Hunter.
As you know, myself and Red have above average sex drive, so she's waiting for the right person, of course.
What? Thurman says, as you know, well-established fact. Okay.
Like my man's over here, no homo.
What?
But
just
you know,
that clip, please. Trailer, timestamp that 35 minutes.
Alright, take a picture. But I'm gonna take a picture and send it to you, okay?
That was fucking perfect.
Okay, so are we going Yusuke or Autumn?
I'm conceding because Yusuke is the better written character. I'm a Yu-Gi-Oh boy, but Yusuke is the better character here.
Okay. Alright, we've hit the one that is going to be pure Thurman David. I'm just gonna step back.
Is this the one
Lelouch, Team Toki.
Oh God, no!
The random happened. It made it happen. Now this is both of their probably favorite characters.
Oh no! This is friendship breaking right here.
No, we have to do this. We have to change it because myself and David's friendship is line right here.
Lelouch stomps. Lelouch stomps. Fuck you. Fuck you. Fuck you.
Careful, your fucking everyone else that lives in your goddamn apartment is gonna think that some shit's going down.
I was not told friendships would be tested during this video.
Watch fucking the cops show up and think that there's a domestic dispute situation going on.
There is.
Me and my bitch of a wife Thurman.
Oh my God, Jesus Christ. Save this friendship.
I have to use the bathroom. So, David, you can talk about Lelouch while I go to the bathroom. All right.
Do your Lelouch rant. You better be back quick.
Oh my God. So, Lelouch Lamperouge is the pinnacle of fucking character writing. I don't care what anyone says in the comments. I will die on this fucking hill. My God. The split timelines, though, I will say, kind of annoy me. Because if you don't know...
Let's talk about the original Code Geass.
Well, to defend this point, I have to talk about both. If you don't know, Goro did this wonderful fucking stupid thing that the entire fandom hates, where he created this movie timeline where surely the motivation for most of the second season stays alive. Ugh. Fucking, I question it until I saw R3's movie in theaters. My birthday last year. Fucking, that movie made everything in that timeline tied together perfectly. And just shows how masterful of a fucking writer Goro can be when he's actually given time to write coherently. So, now, spoilers for R3 inbound in 3, 2, 1. Lelouch was comatose, somehow alive during that wonderful fucking carriage scene that you saw at the end of Season 2 in the original timeline. Is this fucking zombie husk for most of the movie. This wonderful order comes to be, and now Lelouch is the fucking leader of the fucking Geass Order alongside C2, known as L2, which is fucking... The man has the most drip out of any fucking character on the planet in this luscious fucking jacket that looks like it cost $1 million fucking dollars. I'm not kidding.
Just for the sake of everyone watching, couple less fuckings.
I'm sorry.
We're talking as much as I say
This man, I would go gay for.
Oh, good, yeah. Thurman, do let us know if you're back. This bitch.
This bitch.
Oh, good. He's here. All right, cool.
While your character is flinging shit at another man, my character is fighting in a giant
fucking
mech.
Pussy left and right.
He is fighting in a giant mech, ripping drones apart.
He's making women dress in bunny suits.
Shut up.
I don't remember if he had
did not do that. In fact, he got her out of that bunny suit. Thank you very much.
He respects women. Good for him.
But my God, this man is playing fourth dimensional chess before it was a meme. Conquering countries. Conquering the entire world, all to be a martyr for this fucking order that he's created.
Geass once. It's something I need to rewatch because it's one of those things where I've only seen it once, and it was with Andrew.
Please, both watch both timelines. Watch both timelines because everything from here on out seems to be going through the movie timeline for whatever reason.
Well, yeah. Either way, though, I mean, it's good. You know, like I
Lelouch stomps your puny gag character into the ground with a mech boot.
Finishing my point though, and then let Thurman talk because he didn't interrupt you when he talks. Okay, David. But
to be fair, he was using the bathroom.
But still, I mean, he's been back for quite a while. Because and also this could devolve into like. I understand, like, the rage. You can have some rage, but, like, let him talk, though. Because, like, there are moments where, like, the rage for the sake of, like, memeing, it gets, like, so loud that nothing gets done. Just my take on Lelouch. Yeah, I like him. You know, I think I need to rewatch it because it's been too long. I don't have, like, a full grasp of how great he is. I'd be down to rewatch it at some point, but like from what I remember, I did like him. I like his shit with his dad. I liked the part that always will be burned in my mind is the fucking shit where he accidentally goddamn makes pink-haired girl kill all the 11s. I think Yuffie. Her hair is pink, right?
The Yuffie moment.
Is her hair pink?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. Because like that moment's fucking amazing. Like that whole moment, like. That was beautiful. So yeah, I mean, there's great moments. I don't have much more to say than that. I'm going to leave it to Thurman and let Thurman say his thing. Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Okay, so listen, Gintoki is a character who, from the start, was really well written. Just from the fact that, and I've made this comparison many before, is that was Sorachi's best skill. Was learning how to make gag and battle manga genres coincide almost too perfectly. Like because here's the thing, right? The gag elements show us Gintoki's personality. He's a drunk, you know. He suffers from, I wouldn't say depression, but somewhat of it, PTSD. He clearly has certain issues with certain things. You know, he's gambling problems, you know, like he's a human being, right? But then the battle manga portion of it kind of shows him conquering those sort of issues and kind of leading, you know, us to believe that yes, he still has flaws as a human, but that isn't all that define him. He's a character that was made. He has moments to where he says some very inspirational and heartwarming shit while also doing the dumbest shit possible by throwing fucking feces, right? Like he knows when it's time to get serious, when it's time for joking. And that's why he's such a great character is that his personality and the way he was written like entirely almost human being. Like completely like the flaws and positives of being human. Because his whole point is living life from the fullest, not getting to worry about certain things, you know, trying to be the best you can because he's not rich. You know, he's in all his jobs. He takes jobs from people in his town, right? He's gaining the trust from people by doing certain things, right? Like he's not trying to conquer countries or do this best scheme or anything. He's just a normal guy trying to live his life the best way he can. And if anybody who's trying to disrupt that or hurt his friends, he will do exactly what he wants to do. He doesn't really have any outlying goal or have any drive or anything like, you know, like Naruto or Luffy, but he doesn't need to, right? As a young child, he, you know, He was orphaned. He lived his life going from corpse to corpse because a war was going on, right? And then he joined that war. He saw many people die. He had to kill his own master. Spoilers, and shit like that, right? And then when he finally found solace by staying at Otai's place, and then he found Kagura, and then he found Shinpachi. Then they formed the Odd Jobs, which is Yorozura in Japanese, right? And basically, he's living his life, just enjoying his life, like almost like a slice of life, right? Like he did nothing he really wants, right? Like he basically has everything he wants. So it's just us going through this journey with him as he tries to protect the things he wants to protect, meeting new characters, doing some wacky shit and fighting off aliens. Because at the end of the day, he's still a normal guy doing normal things, but he still has, normal, like, drinking issues. Like, he comes home almost every night drunk as shit, throwing up, right? But you don't really think of him as a bad person because that's not who he is. The drinking and gambling almost seems like a coping mechanism, right? And it's kind of hinted at that. So, honestly, I think he's one of the most bust-looking characters in manga, period. One of them is because of that he's so complex in the fact that his gag moments and his battle shonen moments are one and the same. And Sorachi doesn't try to hide that fact. Like the same Gintoki who's fucking drinking all night and coming home hungover as shit and drunk as shit is the same one that's willing to die and kill someone for almost killing his friend. And that's, and that's something a lot of shonen series don't really touch on. But
so just to jump in here, just for my comment here, I have not seen Gintama. I saw a little bit. I remember when we were trying to rabbit it, and it's something I'm gonna, because like the older I get, the more I appreciate gag characters, and I also appreciate the fact that when you have a big long slice of life, like chunk of content with a character, when shit ends up getting real and serious, you care more because you've really loved and laughed and learned to love that character. Right. So I appreciate gag characters quite a bit. I'm not sure how we're going to come to a decision on this. I mean, do you want me to be the tiebreaker? I feel like it's not fair. I mean...
Yeah, let's flip a coin.
I'm going to jump in here on the Gintoki aspect here as well. Like, he is the personification of the duality of man. You can have that wonderful slice of life where he's flinging feces at another human being, and you can have that wholesome, like, I'm going to avenge everything moment as well, because I have watched and read bits and pieces of Gintama as well. So I get the appeal of the series as a whole, but I will always stand by the fact that it is going to be more remembered for that gag aspect than it is for that serious aspect, because what do you see clips of everywhere? What is the most talked about parts of Gintama? I still, in my memories, have, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, had the clip where he's climbing the fucking truck of penises.
Oh my god, I need to watch this series.
Thurman, you know the moment I'm talking about here.
Yeah.
So, like, those are the most talked about moments, because those are the moments that are like, what the fuck is this series about? And when you try to explain what Gintama is to somebody, they're like, but it also has this, 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 and this. And you gotta be like, yeah, it has all those things, but it's also this really, really heartfelt series. I'm not going to deny that fact. Like, it is sad as fuck at moments. It's beautiful. It is well crafted. I will never deny that. But it will always go down as more of the gag series because that's what's touched on more.
Okay, so if you guys want to debate more, let me know. If not, I have a coin flip thing here, and I'll send a picture of the...
Little boy, you better be using your freaking Phantom Troop coin.
Oh, okay. I can do that. Hold
on. Send the video so no one will get upset.
All right, hold up. I gotta set up my mic, so it's because I'm usually holding it. All right.
You want to call one, David?
Yeah.
I'm doing an archive, so if he loses it, we have this video, this beautiful video.
Okay. I'll film it, and then I will send it somewhere. It's dark as fuck in my room, though. All right, let me put it on the flash. There we go. Okay. Who's got what?
I got heads.
I mean, are you okay with that, Thurman?
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah.
Okay, so this heads is the spider, tails is the web. Trying to get a good. I need to try to film where it lands, and do a good twang. Twangs are good. All right. We got tails.
Yeah.
All right.
And I will send it in chat and hopefully add it up on this video as well. You want to save that timestamp so when I ask you where the fucking coin flip is, like you can tell me? Just message it to me somewhere and label it as coin flip. All right, so here it is, by the way. The video, so no one thinks there's bullshit.
Oh, it's bullshit, but I agree.
Oh shit, I guess I fucking recorded the end of it, but yeah.
It's a web. It's a web. I'm a salty boy, but I'm okay.
You can see it, but yeah, like unfortunately, I did that thing where I must have like when I pushed to end the recording, it began the recording, you know.
Yeah.
Also,
you're using Messenger, so Messenger shit.
Fair enough, but yeah, you see it's web.
Yep.
All right, fair's fair. Gintoki moves on. All right, which is actually honestly, I think that this needs to represent. This list should represent all our opinions amalgamated into one, which is, you know, it makes sense, right? And I'm a big fan of gag characters. I like gag characters a lot. I have a feeling I'll like him. Okay, so Gintoki moves on.
Stop it.
Yeah.
What you want to know what's next? And this is I'm so ready. This is we all know who the victor is, but we're here for a rant. And it is Senku versus Emma.
Oh shit! Emma sucks as a main character. Fuck you.
There was a time where I liked her, but yeah, Senku's amazing. He's got the drip. He's got the intelligence. We'll fucking hype Senku in a bit. But first, Thurman, do you have some things to say about Emma?
Hello?
Thurman might be. What?
I'm back. So what was the thing?
Oh shit! Thurman didn't hear it. I get to fucking reveal it again. Okay.
Emma
Thurman
versus Senku.
Oh, Senku bombs! Oh my god, Senku better 100%. The better new shonen protagonist 100%. There is no debate. All right, I'm starting this. So first of all,
yes, this is exactly what I wanted.
Senku is a man who is literally trying to revive.
I can just sit my headphones down for this one.
Oh yeah,
7 billion people on this earth, mind you. Okay,
even the shitty ones.
He is well written because of the fact that his character is so good. Like every time you see him, like he's like a mixture of like Luffy and like another good written character, maybe like Kurapika or something, right? Like
That's a weird comment. I don't know about that one, but okay.
But not like personality wise. I'm talking about like good character traits.
Nah. You take that out. Continue.
So sure, whatever. So anyway, because he's so good, because he's not over exaggerated, right? He's a really smart guy who is trying to revive everyone, but his interactions with the other characters make it so unique. Like every time he's interacted with characters, it's different. Like he has moments with Yusu that he can't have he can't have the same moments with like Gen, but he has certain moments with Gen that he can't have moments with Kohaku, right? Like
and Chrome, the friendship with him and Chrome.
Like he's that one guy who you think can't be friends with everyone, but he's friends with everyone because of how dope he is.
He's the guy like everyone had like a dude in like the high school lunchroom that just everyone liked. And it wasn't like one of those things where like, oh, he's the popular kid, so he shits on like the unpopular kids. We're talking about like the guy that every clique likes. The jocks like him. The nerds like him. The fucking preppies like him. Everyone likes this person. And he's just able to fucking... It's like Mirio from fucking My Hero Academia. Like everyone likes him.
Yeah, and it's so great because he's just so... He doesn't have to be over.
Hold on, your audio. Can you do something with your phone there? Sorry.
Yeah, it's fine. He doesn't have to be extra as a character.
But it's not fine. I can't hear you.
Dude, I just walked back into my room and I can hear the crackle, crackle, crackle.
Yeah, no, it was okay. It just started. All right, you should probably be good now. Go ahead.
Okay, so he's such a good character because he's another.
No, I still can't. I don't know what's going on with your audio. Straight up, man. Like,
I don't know. Like my shit's on my bed, chilling. Nothing's near it.
Can you move? Can you just try moving around because something's up?
Good.
It's like he's talking through a funnel.
That's weird, bro.
See, no, that's better now. You're good.
Yep.
Right.
Okay, so yeah. So his interactions are great. His bad moments are great because I like smart characters because he's a smart character, but he doesn't have that douchey fucking I know everything aspect that most smart characters in most series have.
100%.
Right? He's very humble and he doesn't know he's humble. Right? Like he knows he's smart.
He ain't humble bragging or anything.
He's not your Rick.
He's more of like a, hey, I'm just doing like he's like one of those heroes who like doesn't want the fame, doesn't want the praise. Mm-hmm. He's just like, I'm just doing what is normal, right?
Like on top of Thurman there, like 100. That's exactly why I started liking this series because when I first saw Senku, first couple chapters, I thought he was gonna be that douchey smart guy, and I was like, oh, it was very like adjust glasses, like Baka, you don't understand my intelligence. Like I was starting to think it was gonna be like that, but like he so perfectly subverts those expectations, and it's true. Like a lot of times these smart characters, they have this, like give off this vibe, like, oh well, I'm clearly gonna rise above humanity, and I should be in charge of all these things. He's not trying to revive humanity because he thinks he should be the leader or like, oh, I know how societies run better. In fact, one of the enemies that he goes up against in the series is someone who wants to change the way societies run, and Senku's just a true neutral. He's like, nah, bro, like, my job is simply to revive humanity. Humanity will take it from there. Like, he is smart as hell, but like, he doesn't intrude on anyone's shit. He's really respectful to everyone. He doesn't belittle people that are like way dumber than him. He's just like one of the most likable dudes ever. But like he's not like a Mary Sue or whatever the fuck it's called either. Like he's not just like one of the fucking he's just like a perfect character either. Like he has sides to him. One of the most defining moments to me was like, even though he's so smart, you see the child, like the kind of the, not child, like the teenager still in him when they're making a tank, and like he's just riding it around like so happy. Like he's just, I think out of every character that we're talking about on this list today, even the best characters, you can tell they're anime characters. If you ripped out a character from any of these series and plopped him in real life, you'd get a vibe like, okay, well, there's something off about you, because most anime characters, they're exaggerated. There's something that they do that makes them kind of feel like, okay, well, that's a character written for a show. But Senku, you know, disregarding like the wacky facial expressions that the author draws, purely his character, if you just put him in real life, he's the most real motherfucker. He just feels like a real human and that's something that every Dr. Stone character has. Like they feel like real people, period.
I can't weigh in here, so.
I mean, you can weigh it. You can shit on Emma.
Well, yeah, I can shit on Emma for days on end. That sounds weird considering this character's 15.
Stop. No, you didn't have to take it there. You just chose to take it there. That was extra cringe.
That
was right there. That was a reach for a joke. That it didn't deserve it. It wasn't funny, and it's only gonna make certain people be like, "Well, that's weird that his mind was there." You
please timestamp that, please. That was so good.
That's a mouth, an ass, and other.
That was so good. He was like,
by yourself.
He was like, you have to take that.
Because you know that there's certain people on the internet that will take the shit there.
No one would have noticed it. It would have flied under the radar. Then you said.
Oh my god! Please find that timestamp. Put it in the channel trailer. It is a crime. That is. Oh my god! That shit is fucking good. That was like a.
5 hours of sleep to work tomorrow.
This is why this channel works so well. That was so good.
I've had 2.5 hours sleep. Okay.
Yeah, no excuses for your shitty joke. All right.
David said, yeah, but it'd be kind of weird. Blah, 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 blah. Like, no.
I tried to stop him. He was like halfway through the sentence. I had so much time to stop him, and he just kept talking.
There ain't no stopping the cringe train, man.
Oh my god.
Anyway, Emma is the worst fucking written character in that entire
Can we not
series.
Stop exaggerating. It weakens your point when you over-exaggerate.
No, she is the worst written character in that entire series, hands down. They're all robotic, still to this day, but she feels so much worse because she was the best written character in the first 2 arcs.
I don't know if she was the best written, but like I did like her. Like she was interesting to me because I thought that the author was going to kind of go in like a Gon Freaks direction, whereas with Gon, who we'll talk about more later in this video, his whole thing was like he had like this deep-seated rage that like kept building and building, and like child rage is some scary shit because children can have temper tantrums, and if they're powerful and they have power, which is the same thing as being powerful, it can be scary. But like they didn't really do that. Like there were cool like foreshadowings. Like I remember the one that I latched onto with Emma was where she found out that Rey was like purposely letting kids be sent away or whatever, and she was like, "That's fine, just don't fucking do it again." And like because her thing was that like she had this unrealistic idea that they could save everyone. Like she was idealistic, but to like an authoritarian degree. Like if she was like the president of some country, she would be like, "Nope, we're going to give food to everyone," and then like someone would be like, "We don't have the food for that." It's like, if you don't, I'll kill you and feed. That is Emma. If they fucking wrote her well, because she was going down this interesting path of like chaotic good almost, where like she wanted to do good so badly that she would do fucked up shit to do good. And you could have done some interesting shit with that. In fact, what I was hoping they'd go down was basically crushing Emma entirely. Because what you need to do with someone who has these unrealistic dreams, and it was pointed out many times, Emma, this is not realistic. Emma, that's never going to happen. Emma, we literally, how the fuck are we going to save 30 people and like 10 infants from this place? And I am not caught up, but as Thurman, I think, has put so well, and I'll hand it off to Thurman for this, as Thurman put so well, the author literally hands everything Emma wants on a silver platter to her. Is that true?
Yeah.
Yeah, she pretty much got everything she wanted. Like there's
no struggle with this big setup of like Emma has unrealistic goals, everyone calls her out for it, and she is clearly gonna freak when she realizes she can't get those. Setup is there, it's perfect, and fumble. So go, please, Thurman, rant about how the author just gets her fucking.
And I'm gonna give you guys a few moments in the series where this proves my point.
Thurman, I need you to fix your phone again.
Here, before Thurman goes on a whole fucking 20-minute tirade about how shitty Emma is.
I do want to hear it though. So
I do. I do too. But what I will say is, when they reforged the Promise, which was I think 15-ish, 16-ish chapters ago. It's kind of hard to tell because it all feels like one giant fucking chapter at this point. I'm not going to lie. But, like, that seems to have some implications. Where they'll go, who the hell knows, considering this series has had such high highs and such low lows. And there's been no real in-between. And Thurman, for some reason, is hating this entire reveal that Peter's really a coward, and I think it's really well-written villainry, but...
Well, let's not get into the series review, though. I want to stick with Emma. So, as you were saying, though, Thurman.
But with Emma, that there might be the redeeming quality for her character, but we're not there yet, so Thurman, yeah.
So, I'm going to give a few examples of how she's been spoon-fed, right? One of the things, where we see in the woods, where the kids are about to die, right? And she, I forgot his name. What the fuck his name is? He was like, you have a choice. Either the kids are gonna die. Like some of the kids are gonna die, and blah blah blah. And all of a sudden, the guy dies, and like no kid dies, right?
Oh, Andrew, yeah.
Yeah, and then we have
like literally, yeah, Deus Ex Machina style, like everything just goes right.
Then we have the Norman shit. Right, we assume that Norman's dead, but it turns out she really wanted Norman to stay alive, and look, the man's alive. Thirdly, okay, we see more recently in this current arc, they're like, "Oh, we're outgunned, we're outnumbered. There's no way we can do it." Emma does his speech, saying, "No, we got it. We can do this. We're gonna be fine. No one's gonna die." And lo and behold, somehow, some way, everyone's alive. Isabella somehow, well, I get Isabella's trading them, being a traitor makes sense, but that's the one good thing I'll give it. But and now like, you know, everything's well, no one's died, even though someone should have died because it's like a high stakes and all this other shit. So that's another one. Another one is how somehow she talks no jutsu Norman into becoming a good guy now, and all of a sudden now he's a good guy, doesn't want to kill anybody, even though he made this whole plan to kill a bunch of people and, you know, kill the demons. And she's like, no, I don't want to kill demons. And all of and behold, no demons.
Okay, I'll give you that one.
And just many more. So
right. Yeah.
Emma is a character who you can't punish. The author doesn't want to punish her. Her childlike dreams always come true, and it makes the series pointless because this was a series. The whole point of the beginning of the series was to show
harsh, brutal reality.
Yeah, harsh, brutal reality. That's right. And ever since they left the camp or the house, whatever, the farm.
Yep.
It's more like it's not harsh reality. It's Emma's reality. Like she's a fucking reality warper from. Like she's a reality warper from Marvel and DC. Like she's writing the entirety of Promised Neverland. Like she's pulling a whole Bugs Bunny.
So Deadpool style just exited her series and fucked.
So
the writer at gunpoint.
The majority of the series, we haven't had a single kid die. We've only had like one actual death. I wouldn't be surprised if the adults who sacrificed themselves for the underground tunnel, I wouldn't be shocked if they were still alive.
They just come back, bro.
Yeah. So honestly, Emma is just a character who lost all touch of reality.
Let me just pop in and say, yeah, like the author. So there are interviews where he talks about his original script. This is a script he had for a long time, and he was going from publisher to publisher to try to get it published. Okay, and then Shonen ended up saying, "All right, cool," but the problem is they made him censor it and they made him extend it. The original story was literally just Gracefield, and then it ended with a handful of the kids escaping after many deaths. He talked about how the original story, the original script, many of the kids died, and it ended after Gracefield. This is a story that has to be dark. You can't not make it dark. And I'm pretty sure, I could be misquoting, but I think he talked about how, like, yeah, Shonen really only let me get away with, like, one child murder, and I used it in my first chapter, right? And what that did was it set up false expectations. Like, it hooked me in. I was like, this series is really going to show a fucking dead child body in a floating fucking tube, chapter 1. That's amazing. Like, well, we're really going to go into a dark, gritty, harsh, like, whoa, this world's fucked up. And then it just somehow you how the hell am I supposed to feel fucking threatened when a group of children can run through this entire world and none of them die? It's wild. But yeah, more on Emma's character. Like you said, you know, like she has to be challenged. She needs to be challenged in order to bring out the best in her as a character. And if she's not, you're not getting really anything other than a robot to extend the plot forward. So yeah. Let's just give that to Senku and move on.
Yep.
Now this one should be interesting. Gon Freaksu versus Deku.
Shit.
I'm gonna have things to say about both of them.
I think I'm gonna give it to Gon, honestly.
Do you want to give your reasonings or?
It's not too much difference. They're almost, I wouldn't say identical, but I like both characters. I just like, because your explanation on Gon's character kind of made me like him more than I originally did. So just because you're, ladies and gentlemen, I'm just gonna have Red explain because he's going to explain why I picked Gon over Deku. So go ahead, do your thing.
So I'll start with Gon. I like to deeply explain both of their characters. These are actually two characters I like a lot. So with Gon, I consider him pretty average up until about Chimera Ant. But I see all the other arcs leading up to Chimera Ant as part of his character development. I see him as someone who has this like deep-seated rage just building inside of him. You know, he's innocent, but like the story is slowly about him losing his innocence. He goes into the world, and it's a very fucked up, harsh world. In fact, Gon is what Emma should have been. a kid that had a hell of a lot of innocence. So much innocence, in fact, that he basically said, "Oh yeah, that father that just left me. I still want to meet him. I'm sure he had good reasons to leave me. Whatever. I'm sure he had good reasons to drop me off as a child and never fucking talk to me. Whatever." And then as you see him go through the world, it's a very harsh world in Togashi's world. You just see kind of these moments of rage pop out more and more. These moments of like, you see it in Greed Island a lot too during the fucking dodgeball game when he realizes that Killua's hands are hurt, and when he's mad about the fact that Razor killed people, like he gets more and more mad. He has that confrontation with Carollo. How can you kill people? And he has these like moments where he just bubbles over, right? And his character culminates in Chimera Ant, where you see this like one-track way of viewing the world perfectly be challenged, again, as Emma should have been challenged, with Kite, right? So like Kite is the guy. If you read the manga, because unfortunately the Madhouse anime, this is the one thing they fucked up on. Otherwise, perfect adaptation. Kite is the guy that told Gon, "Hey, your dad did not die in a car accident like Aunt Mito told you. He's out there. He's fucking he's living his life, and you should go find him." He gave him that. Like, Kite was the guy, right? So when he meets him up again, and it's a really important person to Gon, and they kind of rekindle their friendship, and he becomes like an uncle to him almost. And he gets pretty brutally murdered. But before Gon recognizes that he's dead, it's this denial. You're seeing that innocence slowly fade away. So first, for a long time, there's this denial, like, nope, Kite's not dead. No way, he's not dead. And Killua knows. He's like, no, fuck, he's dead. He's so fucking dead. I sense that then. He's dead. But Gon's still sitting there like, no, he'll be fine. He'll be fine. Then Knuckle and Shoot go retrieve his dead corpse being puppeted by Nen strings. And then Gon's like, no, he's fine. We can get Neferpitou to turn him back to normal. That'll be fine. That'll be fine. Everyone's like, Gon, are you sure about that? He's like, yeah, it's totally fine. So he's, again, holding on to that rage. And, like, I think even he knows he's in denial. And he keeps saying, like, no, it's fine. But that rage bubbles up, and it bubbles up. And there's something that was foreshadowed when he was the first actual kill that Gon ever killed someone in the series was one of the scrub Chimera Ants. And Kite looks to him, and he's like, are you okay with murder? We are murdering sentient life here. And he's like, no, man, I have no sympathy for someone who has no sympathy for their friends and allies. These Chimera Ants were basically shitting on their own friends and allies. They clearly have no love. They're monsters. They're not human. They don't have love, yada, yada. And then Kite's like, okay, but what if you meet one that does? And that was setting up Neferpitou. He walks on a Neferpitou. He's kind of projecting all of his hatred and rage, everything he's felt over the last couple months onto this creature, Neferpitou. And it's a lot easier to act out on this rage if you dehumanize. And this is what people do. It's a metaphor for what people do to other people. We dehumanize people that we hate because it's easier to live with it. If you think for a second, hey, maybe that person that cussed me out at work today, maybe they're having a bad day. Maybe they have an abusive household or like abusive spouse, or maybe they can't pay rent and they're about to be homeless. Maybe that's why they yelled at me today. But no, it's a lot easier to say, no, they're just an asshole and they deserve death. Fuck them. That's what Gon was doing with Neferpitou. He walks in. Neferpitou is literally healing a 14-year-old girl. I don't even know. I always would say 14 like I know. I don't even know. I get that vibe. She's around there, right? Healing like a teen girl. And Gon does not even see it. He's like, no, get the fuck up. And she's like, this girl will die if I get up right now. And he's just like, I don't give a fuck, I'm going right now. And it takes Killua to stop him. Like, Gon, you're being a monster right now. And after all that, I think it culminates in Gon completely flipping and becoming basically the worst person in that arc, like the actual bad guy, where Neferpitou is trying to buy some more time to heal this girl. And he says, no, listen, if you try fucking with me again, I will kill her. He threatens to kill an innocent girl he's never met before in his life for his rage. And I've never seen a main character in my life do that. I cannot think of a main character that threatened to kill a completely innocent person that had nothing to do, just a bystander. Like that shit is wild. And it's just this pure rage, this like perfect showing of what like rage and denial will do to you. And that's what Gon was in the Chimera Ant arc. And that's really his character. I see his character not like he was pretty simple in the early on times, but like his character was like a path. It was like a long path up to that point, and that is his character. Whereas with Deku, and I'll go through this one quicker. I like Deku a lot in the beginning. I quite enjoyed his backstory. I thought that it was a very good representation of like what it's like to live in a world with like a disability, right? Because in My Hero Academia world, a quirk is like a sense, like taste, touch, smell, hearing, seeing, all that shit. And in My Hero Academia world, if you don't have a quirk, you are practically disabled. You will be looked at as a lesser person. Like, quite literally lesser evolved. They describe it as it's like the next stage of human evolution. You are a lesser evolved human being. There's like racism against people that don't have quirks. There's also racism against people that do have quirks, but that's later. Quirk KKK. Remember that, Thurman?
Yeah, Quirk KKK.
Yeah, but anyway, but that just I love that because this manifests in his mother. Oh God, his mother. It's like. His mother finding out that he's not gonna have a quirk, taking him to the doctor. They tell it like literally. They tell her like it's like, oh, I'm sorry, your kid has autism. It's like that's what it's like in this world, and this beautiful moment where his mother does not do what a mother should do. What should a mother do in that situation? They should say, hey, I still love you just as much, and the world will still love you just as much, and I'm gonna fucking make sure that you live just a happy life, no matter just. Quirk, it's not going to change anything. That's what a mother should do. What did his mother do? No, she broke down. She starts sobbing and hugging him and saying, I'm so sorry, to like a 6-year-old. Like, I'm so sorry. Can you imagine being like a 6-year-old being told you don't have a quirk, and your mom, you look to the one person that you're hoping will be like, no, that's okay. It doesn't mean anything. You still have a good life. Your mom's like, fuck, you're going to be treated like a second-class citizen because you don't have a quirk right now. That right there is what made me love Deku. This underdog thing where like it's not just oh, I'm an underdog because this, that, or the other thing. It's like literally in society's eye, you are a lesser human. And the problem is Deku was phenomenal in the first couple seasons because even when he got this big extra amazing quirk, his body couldn't handle it. He couldn't throw a goddamn punch without breaking his whole ass arm. But the problem is you do obviously have to eventually have him gain the ability to control this power more. And that, unfortunately, inherently makes him less relatable and makes the exact thing that I loved about him go away more and more. Understandable, I get it. It's a story about him gaining strength, but the problem is what you made me love about him was his weakness. And since that was what was loved about him to me, he has significantly fallen as a main character for me. So considering for me, I love both of them. But since Gon started out and became amazing as the story went on, and Deku started out great and became less good as the story went on, I vote Gon.
Yeah. Hello? I'm just going to give it to Gon. I can't stand Deku as a character.
He doesn't like My Hero Academia in general, so that's funny.
You're not wrong, but yeah. Hello.
Okay, I think we're done. Next one.
Mm-hmm. Red. Red's computer crashed.
Archive. I hope you saved everything, my guy.
Oh yeah, Shinra versus Asta.
Oh shit! Oh man.
You start off with the Asta hype.
Not even that. I like both characters. They're both good. Oh shit.
They are both good characters. I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my god. Oof. Wow. Okay. So I know they're probably gonna pick against Asta, but I like both characters, so it's hard for me to decide which one I like more. Because both of them are kind of similar in many ways. Both of them are very, very. How can I put this? Both of these characters are similar in ways that you wouldn't think they'd be similar in, right? Both of them don't like death. Both of them want, because Shinra's whole thing was after his parents and his brother supposedly got killed. He wanted to be a hero, right? Asta is someone who wants people to cherish life. He doesn't want death. Like, even if you're evil, like, he doesn't want death. Like he's had this moment to where he's wanted, like, you can say he wanted to kill somebody, but he wanted to kill in elf form. He killed the Magic Emperor, but he was like, I'm not going to kill you, but I'm going to forgive you because that's what you need, right? So both of these characters are good in their morals, and they both have good character development. So, I'm probably not gonna do what Red did, because I'd be here all day.
Yeah.
But it's interesting because both of these characters are just good in the fact that they both have good moral standards and center ground when it comes to things that.
Hey, I'm on my app right now until I can get my laptop back up. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah. So Asta and Shinra, right? So both of them are characters who, from the start, are very opportunistic, right? They both want to be, he wants to be Magic King, one wants to save people, all this good stuff, but. And then you have certain things to where, like, it's so hard. They're so similar. It's just hard for me to pick which one I like more, because both of them have good moments. Both of them have moments where they're good character development, and I don't know. So I think, to me personally, I'm gonna have to flip a coin on this one, because.
Oh, I got shit to say. Is my audio quality okay on here?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
All right. So, first of all, the vote for me is Shinra, easily. We all know this. We all know my feelings on Asta, and I hope Thurman is laughing, remembering them.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Now, David, this will probably come down to you as a tie vote, so be thinking. Have you seen Fire Force or read it?
I've read bits of it. I know enough
to make a genuine opinion?
Enough to make a genuine opinion on both of these characters.
Okay, let me give my thingy on Shinra. I love him.
Great point.
I don't know, like, what's up?
Great point. You love him.
Yeah, oh yeah, that's my point. Like, Shinra is simple, but he's simple done right, in the same way that fucking Yusuke is. So first of all, like, just a great quirk overall is this, like, smiling thing he does. It gives me a thing to think about when I think about his character. And, like, every time you're getting, like, a silhouette of his character, it's going to be that smile, right? And it means something. I like it when a character design has a meaning. And, like, he essentially has this thing, and I think it's very relatable. I think a lot of people, do have this, where they react to stress by smiling, or giggling or something like that. And, like, imagine for a second.
I do the creepy, like, Arthur Fleck Joker laugh now.
Yeah, and, like, genuine stress. Sometimes people be like that,
Yeah.
And but, like, imagine for a second, he's there, and his mother and little brother presumably burns to death, and because he's a little child and he's fucking grinning from ear to ear, and he has these powers, so everyone thinks he fucking did it. So he becomes the devil. They call him, like, what do they call him now, Thurman? Is it just the devil, or what do they call him?
Demon.
Oh, okay, yeah, they call him a demon, a devil. Yeah,
I can't tell you what to call him now because it's spoilers.
Whatever, man. But
hey,
you get the idea, right? Like, so that's already just kind of a cool aesthetic. He's also, like, I think he's, like, Asta done right, because, like, whenever Asta tried to make a joke, I just found it cringe. His screaming and stuff. But, like, you have, like, you're just
stop. The streaming thing is long past, my guy. Like,
I mean, I've only seen, like, the first 5 episodes.
Exactly.
And I've read the first 60 chapters, so I don't know what to tell you. I'm going off of what I know.
It gets
but I think it's pretty even. I've seen more of Black Clover than I have of Fire Force. I just watched the first season of Fire Force. That's all I got.
Okay.
But anyway, what's up? Is everything
okay? Can I be the tiebreaker right now?
Well, may I finish what I'm saying about Shinra though? So, no, bro, no, you fucking. Shinra is, like, one of those characters that I just love. And I don't have a lot of reasons for it. I just, like, also his fighting style. Oh my god, the breakdancing thing is, like, he basically fights by fire breakdancing.
I love the fighting style, but
yeah. I'm trying to think if there was anything else to say about Shinra. Yeah, I guess that's really. I just think he's kind of like a lovable kid, whereas to me, Asta is kind of the kid that sits at the back of the bus that you avoid because he's going to talk to you for a little bit too long.
Can I blow both of your minds right now?
Sure.
I'm giving it to Asta.
Disgusting. But I'm glad that at least Thurman isn't getting destroyed.
He is a better developed character the farther you get along in the fucking series than Shinra.
I can believe it. I mean, that's fair. Like, I don't go by pure development though. Like, I'm going on like likability as well. Like, that's why even like when I was talking about Shinra, I was like, I don't have a scientific basis for this. Hold on. Give me a second just to finish my sentence here. I get it that Shinra, like, I can look at him and like, yeah, there's not a lot to talk about. He's just kind of likable to me. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Like, by the Seabed Temple arc thing, I actually liked Asta, and the further I get along in the series, the more I actually mesh with this character I hated for so fucking long. I don't know how to explain it. I guess he's my hate fuck of a character.
Cool. I'm gonna try to call you back on my computer real quick. So I'll be back in like 30 seconds. Just keep talking.
So I'm giving it to Asta, which probably the fact that Thurman's gone quiet. I think I broke him.
No, I mean, you know, you're. I'm gonna be honest, David. Like back then, you were very
I hated him early on.
Well, it's not even that. I'm just talking about like series in general. Like you were very like too quick to judge series, and this is one thing I've told Red about old Red. Like pre-time skip Red was very like that, but you guys have bettered yourselves when it comes to that type of stuff. You guys try to see things differently now than just be like, oh, I hate it. It's dumb.
I still hate the power system, but the story captured me the further I got along. So, I will always hate magic as a power system.
Yeah, many people do. Many people do. So that's why I'm like, I'm not upset that you.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
So much clearer.
Oh, yeah. That's inevitable. I'm on my good microphone now. I hope it wasn't like garbage on the other one, though.
No, it wasn't garbage. I was just saying to Thurman, like, I still will always hate the power system in Black Clover because I hate magic as a power system.
I'm glad that you agree with me on that, David. It just feels like they're throwing shit at a wall. I really
when we had literal Swords of Revealing Light in a chapter, I'm like, okay.
Okay, guess what we're about to do? We're moving on to the semifinals, friendos. And now it'll go a lot quicker.
But my last thing I'm going to say about the power system, I really just think you guys should watch Nux Taka's video on the power system.
Like, yeah, I did. I can agree with some of his points, but I still Nux Senpai, don't chastise me too much if you ever see this video. I disagree. Magic is just boring. I'm a high fantasy
there's an element of like if you can just pull out anything, like I got these mirrors or I got it's just like what I love Fire Force's you know how we talk about less is more, right? So like I like that Fire Force is able to do a lot with a simple concept, which is fire, and it makes the power system feel a lot more concise. Like we deal with fire and different ways to use it. That's why I just prefer that. It's a preference thing.
Yeah. That's simply all it will come down to. Like, I love semblances and fucking all that shit. I love Nin. Nin is the perfect fucking power system. Fight me. I loved Chakra.
I thought Chakra was really well done.
But magic to me is just like I got swords, I got light, I got darkness, and I love games like Final Fantasy. Okay. It works great in a game.
Oh yeah, I agree. But just triple checking real quick, David. We are for sure filming that archive, right?
Yes, we are.
Okay.
You're an hour and a half in.
Beautiful. All right, say what you're saying, Thurman, and then let's move on to the semifinals so I can sleep.
I'm not gonna change how you guys feel about it because I don't really think you guys just hate Black Clover's power system itself. I think these guys just don't like magic, right? Because it's well explained. The magic system is really well explained.
It is very well explained. It's just
you guys.
I get disconnected from the fights when it's just like mirrors and light swords, and I'm just like, you're just throwing shit at each other. I'd much rather it be like
Is that any different than Dragon Ball Z though? Like you're throwing beams of light at each other. Like it. That's how I look at it. Like I can sit there, I can turn my brain off and love a story.
Mm-hmm.
Same with Fire Force. Like I love the story of Fire Force. I just prefer Asta as a character.
That's totally fair. Okay. Semifinals. This is exciting. Nagisa versus Luffy.
This is all you guys.
I have to go Nagisa. Oh, character based, absolutely Nagisa.
So
these will go quick, by the way, because we've already done it.
It's gonna be a lot quicker because we already set our views of the characters. But I gotta go Luffy. I enjoy him way more.
Really? So like,
yeah,
I'll concede to you. Like, obviously, One Piece is the better story, but like character wise, a lot more is put into Nagisa, who he is, what drives him. Luffy is just a surrogate of.
Don't get me wrong. You're right. As far as
I need you to just put your phone again. I can't hear you.
Like, you're right, bro. As far as like characters go, like you said, Luffy's better than Luffy. I just enjoy Luffy more as characters.
Okay. I assume David will go with Nagisa on this one.
I will go Nagisa.
Yeah, my boy. Good for him.
I can't stand Luffy as a character. I'm sorry.
Yeah, nothing wrong with Luffy. Just he's just kind of average to me. Eren Yeager versus Yusuke Urameshi.
Eren, hands down.
Yusuke.
I feel bad because I don't want to fuck over Thurman, but I do like Eren better.
Go ahead, bro. Don't worry about me.
Okay, so again, for me, it's just that manifestation of humanity's rage. I think that's fucking awesome. Whereas Yusuke, for me, like, he's good, but I just don't remember a lot about him. He just kind of he fades into existence. Not that he's bad. I remember him being good, but like he's just kind of. It was not what I remembered about that show. Was Yusuke? It was just the show in general.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gintoki versus Senku. Your boys. That's sad.
Gintoki.
I'm going Gintoki.
Really?
I gotta get
wild. I would have went Senku, but I haven't seen enough Gintama. This shit is gonna go quick. Okay, I guess Gintoki. Damn, all right, good. I'll be able to sleep semi soon. Gon versus Asta. Don't you dare.
Asta.
Are you serious, David? Are you really gonna just to troll me, or like?
Let me think about this for a second, because Asta is getting to that point to where like this current arc. Spoilers 3-2-1. This last chapter, he kind of we're kind of seeing more of a, because you know why I like Asta so much is that he developed, right? Because one of my best moments, and I think Giga made this so good, is that Asta is a character who was born in a world basically with a disability. And even like the disability still hasn't changed, right? Like the swords, think of the swords as like a wheelchair or like a crutch, right? He's still technically, and what I like about it is that he's someone who, like he's still a character that wants magic. Like not really magic, mana, because mana is what is. I wouldn't say it's a life force, but it's basically like what makes up the world. It's basically not having mana is similar to like not having like a fucking like a very important like body part that you need to survive, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like
so kind of like my Deku comparison.
Yeah, but even more so than that, because Deku can still get a job, right? Like mana is used in everything, like to farm, to cook. Like it's like a daily necessity. Think of it as like the internet. Like imagine the internet went away like tomorrow. Like it's basically what it is, right? People wouldn't know what to do. They've used it for so long. That's not a bad thing, It's just that it helps people with daily life. So Asta doesn't have that, right? And he's still jealous of that because yes, he has the swords. Yes, he has the ability to fight, but that can only hold you for so long. There are still swords, right? That's still a wheelchair or a crutch at the end of the day, right? So, what makes it so good is just that Tabata still writes him as like, shit. He hasn't said it in a while, but I still like the fact that he's like, damn, I'm so jealous you guys I'm so envious you guys have high magic power, you guys have mana, because they can sense mana. They can sense, like, as mana is rich, you can sense it, you can like feel like the pressure of mana, and he doesn't feel that. He's like blind to it. And what makes it even better is that throughout the series, and I think Giga, I'm not going to steal this from him because he said it perfectly, is that the reason why Asta yells so much isn't because he's loud per se, it's to convince himself, right? Because and we find this out, another spoiler 221, is that the reason why he got the five-leaf grimoire was because a five-leaf grimoire is born when a person of a four-leaf grimoire feels utter despair. And how did he get the grimoire? Because he felt utter despair. Because at the beginning of the series, what do we see? We see that, yes, he was very, very Gon-like optimistic. But he was like, shit, I don't have mana. Because at first he was like, shit, it's not that I don't have mana, it's just that I have low mana, right? So if you have low mana, you still have enough to get a grimoire. But he found out, he was like, shit, I didn't even get a grimoire. But I said, that's okay. All I have to do is just train about it a little bit more. And then maybe next year I'll be able to get a grimoire, right? But then when the guy comes up, he's like, no, you have zero to no mana whatsoever. That's when his world just comes crushing down because reality finally hits him, right? That's like you as a child, like wanting to do something so badly, like want to do this, want to do that, right? But then something out of your control, something you're born with, prevents you from achieving that.
Just to help you with your point there, there's a scene, I don't remember what the movie's called, but there was a movie I watched once where there was a kid who wanted to join the Air Force. His whole life, that was his goal. And then he found out that he was colorblind. And you can't join the Air Force if you're colorblind. And he fucking lost it.
Yeah, so it's something like that, right? And basically, and, as we know, helped him out saying, no, as a good friend does, not a Bakugo.
Yeah.
Cheers him up, right? And so that's why he got the fire really grimoire, because he surpassed despair. And basically, another scene where he basically 3-2-1, he gets his arm crushed, he got hit by a magic, like a cursed magic that when it hits you, your bone marrow just turns to dust, completely just turns to dust, right? And that was another moment to where he was like, shit, I'm when everyone's like going to him to see if he's gonna despair, he's like, he yells and he literally yells out loud and says like, no, I'm not going to despair, shit like that, right? So he does that to not really confirmation from everyone else, to confirmation for himself, because that's what you do, right? When you're upset or when you try not to go lower into depression, you do certain things to kind of cheer yourself up, and that's his way. And then it also gets better because he has other certain moments where he feels emotion and stuff like that. So
what do you think about him and Gon? Like, how do we?
I'm gonna give it to Asta just because I think we've been given more. Gon has the edge because Gon's character shift has been building up, and I like that. But I like Asta's a little bit more because people kind of underestimated his character a bit, but we find out he's not, the same as what everyone else thought he was.
Thank you, Thurman.
So I get what you're saying. The problem with what?
I was just saying thank you, Thurman.
Okay. The problem with Gon is that it really is just that one arc. It's slowly building to it. He is just kind of the shonen surrogate for a little bit. The placeholder main character, just a happy-go-lucky boy until Chimera Ant arc. There's little hints of it peeking through here and there, but I agree with you. Until Chimera Ant, he's not super standouty. So yeah, obviously, just because Hunter x Hunter is my favorite series, I would just obligation vote Gon, but I can concede to you Asta simply because Gon is other than that one arc, he's pretty standard. So yeah.
And also don't forget he's not even in the series anymore.
Well, yeah, but I respect that because Togashi was willing to be like, all right, main character shift. But yeah, okay, that's Asta. Okay, the finals, friendos. We got two in the this is semi-finals. We got a match and a match, and then that makes one other match. So Nagisa versus Eren.
That's all you two.
Eren.
I mean, I love Nagisa a lot. He my boy. He's that kind of character is my aesthetic. Socially anxious assassins. I'm into it.
Also femboys.
But just looking at this objectively, Nagisa, his character, just like Gon, is kind of like this thin, stretched out story throughout the series, where there's a lot of moments where he is just kind of a kid, and there's nothing notable. But then, like, when you get the flashback and you get the ending, and then you kind of see how it's, like, all kind of placed throughout the series, right? Whereas Eren, like, it's a lot more important who he is, what he is. The symbolism is there. It gets me hyped. I gotta go Eren. I fucking love Nagisa, though. He's my boy. And then Gintoki, Asta. Your boys, Thurman.
Gintoki.
I'm giving this to Gintoki. Like,
so here's the thing, guys. We have Eren Yeager versus Gintoki.
Eren.
I gotta give it to Gintoki.
Eren is the more whole character.
I feel bad, Thurman, because I haven't seen Gintama, so I can't fucking.
No, it's fine, bro. I get it. That's the only reason why. It's just.
So, David, you've seen both.
The thing is, though, it's not fair either because I've only saw season 1 of Attack on Titan.
No, bro, it gets better. Anyway, okay, so David,
seen...
you've seen all of Gintama?
No, not all of.
How much?
I've about 3/4 of it.
So a good chunk, right?
I will say, given...
As someone who's seen both, break it down, please.
Gintoki has a fantastic arc. Like, you have your gag moments, you have your wholesome moments. Eren has this wonderful progression as one of the best written. I can't say everything in this video because I am going to fucking spoil you, Red, and I hate this.
Yeah, same. Honestly, like, we're just spoilers.
I feel so bad about we
Why don't we
just
given... Honestly,
we're not flipping a fucking coin for the last one. You disgust me. Get out of here.
Fine, a tie-break. Then. They're great.
What I will say is, given the implications of this final arc alone, having more weight for modern storytelling than Gintama. I'm sorry, Thurman. I love your boy, but Eren has more of an impact on modern manga going forward.
So, what I'll say is we'll go because I'm gonna go Eren as well. He my boy. But so the Eren gets first place, Gintoki gets second place, and there actually is they have this little thing down here to decide third place with the other two. So Nagisa versus Asta, who do we like better there? I'm on Nagisa 100%, obviously.
Nagisa's good though, but they're both good in their different ways. I think both of them, like when it comes
I related more to Nagisa.
Yeah, Nagisa is more relatable. But I think Asta's relatable on a different front. Asta is relatable for people who've had their dreams crushed, but they still push forward anyway. I think Asta's character is mostly for people who in reality, because the thing is about Asta's whole reality is that it's not his fault that he was born without man. Like, it's not his fault. You can't help a mutation. So it's going past the mutation.
It's not Nagisa's fault that he was born with a fucked up mother either.
That's true. But I mean, one has more impact than another. I think Asta, but so does Nagi set up technically.
Yeah. So like, just to say back as well, like where your character is relatable in that like pushing for your dreams thing. Just to kind of push back as well for Nagisa. What I find relatable about him is like he is that kid that we all think we are in like middle school, where we're like, you know, like you fail a bunch of tests, or like maybe like there's a certain subject you suck at, like math. I'm never gonna pass this math class. And then maybe they start asking you, hey, what do you want to be when you grow up? What do you want your career to be? And you're just thinking like, I'm not good at anything. I related like a motherfucker to Nagisa because I never felt like I was good at anything. When they were like, oh, what's your career to be? I had no fucking idea. That was Nagisa because he had his whole life planned out for it. His mother was pushing him, and he had no drive to do anything. He was just going to school because that's what you did. And like, what was so beautiful about that series is that Koro Sensei, through his unique, wacky teaching style, drew out this talent, and he showed all of them that they could all be fucking so much more than they thought they could be. and it just, you got to see his confidence and like his leadership ability and everything come out of him. That's what I like about Nagisa, and it reminded me of me when I was in middle school and I fucking hated myself like he did. But I totally get where you're coming from with Asta too. I assume you're stuck on Asta. I'm stuck on Nagisa, so this would go to David. Yeah, David, have you seen Ass Class?
I have seen Ass Class.
Okay.
I love both of your points here for third place. But I relate so much to Nagisa for what you said there, Red. But I love the societal implications for Asta as well. Like, having absolutely no control over your disabilities. Having no control over anything like that. That is so fucking beautiful. And it's something I didn't expect going into the series, where you're first, having watched the anime first, my first impression of Asta was,
yeah.
So yeah,
the screeching.
So yeah, God, that hurts my voice more and more every time I do that.
I don't know why. Look at that. like that hurts my voice. I'm just like, yeah. Why do it then?
Wait, what did you think was gonna happen?
Like, you did that to yourself, my guy.
Because it's so perfect. Like, that was literally my first impression of this fucking character. Having been anime only until I fucking started binging the manga, because you kept saying how fucking good it is. I just finally caved in, and I fell in love with Asta as a fucking character. And in a way, I hate myself for falling in love with him so much, but my God, that you described what I fell in love with so perfectly. So yeah, I'm giving it to Asta.
Okay, so our final thing becomes, hold up now, Nagisa. Okay, give me a second here. So we have, give me a second. Sorry, Asta got that one. Okay, so that is first place, Eren Yeager. Second place, Gin Toki. Third place, Asta. Fourth place, Nagisa. I like that. I dig that.
That's a great list. Video.
That was so. Do you want a piece? Are we peacing? Thank you for watching, etc.
Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching this. Peace. Red, send me that goddamn screenshot so I can edit this. Peace.